by the Bank of Guam, the People's Bank, Docomo Pacific, island-wide, worldwide, the choice is clear. And Micronesia Renewable Energy. Go solar for zero money down.
The governor's office says as far as they're concerned,
from the Pacific News Center in Hagåtña, Guam, here's Clint Ridgell and Janella Carrera with Betsy Brown and Roselle Romanes. PNC Sports with Blake Watson and Weather with Rebecca Kim. With your news now.
Half a day and good evening, Guam. I'm Janella Carrera, and you're watching PNC's News Now.
And I'm Clint Ridgell. Thanks for tuning in. Topping your news tonight, after Attorney General's office launched an investigation into the gambling going on at the Liberation Carnival grounds, the governor's office is saying that no village was given approval to operate gambling at the site after the Liberation Carnival was over. However, Mayor's Council of Guam Acting President Sinohanya Mayor Robert Hoffman says the governor's office was not specific in their responses. PNC's Roselle Romanes has more in this report.
the governor's office says as far as they're concerned, no one should be operating gambling at the Pt.1 Carnival grounds after the Liberation Carnival, because no village was given permission to use the site for village fiesta celebrations after the Liberation Carnival ended in August.
No permission from the governor to use Pt.1.
As far as the response is concerned, no.
Representing the Mayor's Council is Acting President Sinohanya Mayor Robert Hoffman. He says the governor's office was not specific in their responses.
It doesn't state don't go there or don't do this or don't do that. The questions we've had in the past few days is, are people concerned for the activity or they're concerned at the location?
Barrigada and Asan Maina were the only villages that requested to operate any card games at Pt.1 before Liberation. The two were specific in their requests, but only Barrigada was approved. However, the governor's office does not specifically state that they could hold card games at Pt.1.
Barrigada asked to host the games of chance and cockfight at the carnival grounds. In the reply from the governor's office, it says that they are authorized to host the games of chance but does not state where. Only they are approved to operate a cockfighting concession at Pt.1. For Asan Maina, they also asked to host card games and cockfight at Pt.1. And in the reply, it states that card games can only be operated at Asan Maina and only a cockfighting concession can be held at Pt.1.
Gambling is still in operation now, supposedly for Hagåtña Heights, and Dedido Fiestas, but none of the requests specify using Pt.1.
Nobody's there right now.
Okay, so what happens if they violate that?
That's a good question. The Attorney General's office is actually looking into that right now.
Moving forward from here, I think it'd be easier for everybody to kind of sit down and write what we're allowed to do, what we're not allowed to do, and I think it'll be more beneficial to everyone in doing that. I think it leaves no room for error and misinterpretation.
The Attorney General's office is investigating the gambling that is going on in the Liberation Carnival grounds and have sent letters to the Department of Revenue and Taxation and the Mayor's Council of Guam requesting for information. Roselle Romanes, PNC News.
The investigation was initiated after the anti-gambling group Lanatlasin Casino wrote a letter to the AG asking them to investigate and shut down what they say is illegal gambling happening in Pt.1. Deputy Attorney General Phil Tedinko says that they are reviewing Guam's gambling laws.
Allegations regarding a cooler full of pre-marked ballots being spotted at a Dedido precinct on Election Day have now been recanted. PNC's Betsy Brown has more on the complaint, which was discussed by the Guam Election Commission over the weekend.
Affidavit alleging that she saw a cooler full of pre-marked ballots for Calvo Tenorio on Election Day has signed a disclosure disavowing her statements. The Guam Election Commission discussed the issue during their meeting on Saturday, where Catherine Paredo's disclosure was read into the record.
Quote, first of all, I would like to say that I did not prepare the affidavit. It was Bernadette Maynard's.
Paredo's statement goes on to say that she signed the affidavit without reading it as she was in a hurry. She also wrote that what she saw on Election Day was different from what was alleged in the affidavit. While Pareto still claims she did see a ballot, her disclosure says she's unsure of whether it was an election ballot.
On election day, I did see a ballot, but not too sure after the passage of time, I guess through the day, whether it was an official general election ballot or a sample ballot, and it was only one ballot that I saw.
But with the allegations having been made under the penalty of perjury, the commissioners voted to pass the matter on to the Attorney General's office for investigation.
We don't have a complaint. We resolved. It's gone. But there are additional things that I think the AG is more capable of investigating.
In a statement about the allegations in Pareto's disclosure, Meno says Pareto shared her story with numerous persons, including the FBI, before recanting it. Meno also suggests that Pareto may have withdrawn her story out of fear of losing her government job. Bob Kelly, who Meno writes was present when Pareto shared the information used in the affidavit, also sent a statement to the media. In his statement, Kelly writes that he believes Meno accurately prepared the affidavit based on her notes and Kathy's statements. He also suggested that Pareto may have been afraid of repercussions at her job. To view the statements and documents on this issue, visit our website, pacificnewscenter.com. Betsy Brown, PNC News.
With the allegation of a cooler full of ballots now put to rest, the Guam Election Commission on Saturday voted to certify the election results. The cooler complaint was one of 30 complaints filed with GEC this election. Each of the complaints were discussed before the commission moved to certify the results. GEC also conducted a hand tabulation of 4 precincts after a request from Gutierrez Gumatautau campaign chair Kim Perez to audit the results. But even with the election now behind us, GEC Executive Director Maria Pangilinan says her staff still has a lot of work left to do.
Sending out certificates, updating our website with the results, sending out the letters to the provisional voters, sending out the letters to the administrative complainants, making sure that they know that they were all addressed.
A few hours after the results were certified on Saturday, former Governor Carl Gutierrez and his running mate Gary Gumatautau wrote a letter to supporters conceding the election and congratulating Governor Eddie Calvo and Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio on their re-election.
Archbishop Anthony Apparon recently met with Pope Francis in Rome. The reason behind the meeting is unclear, but an international Catholic news agency that wrote about the meeting referred to the Archbishop as the disputed bishop accused of covering for an alleged pedophile. Chancellor Adrian Cristobal says he's heard from Archbishop Anthony Apparon after he met with Pope Francis in Rome. Although Father Adrian does not know the details of the meeting, he says the meeting went well. On the Patty Arroyo show this morning, Father Adrian says Pope Francis expressed support.
So it was a very, very good meeting. I received an email from the Archbishop. He was very encouraged by the meeting. The Pope was very happy with him, very positive. The Archbishop was very impressed with the Pope's, you might say, his humility.
Father Adrian notes that Archbishop Apparon was not summoned and that the meeting was requested by the Archbishop. But on an international Catholic news agency's website where the meeting was reported, Archbishop Apparon was painted in a different image. The Catholic news agency's headline reads, quote, Rome, Pope Francis received the disputed Bishop Anthony Sablon Apparon, blamed for covering a priest accused of pedophilia. The full story, however, was not posted on the website.
So it was the Archbishop's initiative to go meet with the Pope, and they met on the 21st. And if you go to the Vatican website, it gives you a list of all the different meetings the Pope had.
Although the news agency does not detail who the priest Archbishop Apparon allegedly covered for, the Archbishop did remove Father John Howard Watson back in July after it was revealed that Watson was twice accused of sex abuse. Watson was incarcerated on Guam in 2000.
When the Archbishop does get back, we'll probably get more details.
Meanwhile, a recent sex abuse scandal involving the Archbishop has now reached Deacon Larry Claros, who's the sexual abuse response coordinator for the Archdiocese of Agana. It involves an allegation made by John Tovas on behalf of his relative. Tovas initially wrote to the Archbishop last month asking him to step down because he's aware of the alleged sexual molestation that went on between the Archbishop and his relative back in the 1980s. Tovas then sent another letter, this time to Deacon Claros, with the same allegations. In an email response, Deacon Claros tells PNC, quote, "The Archdiocese of Agana has policies in place to provide a safe environment in all our churches, schools, and entities. Because this matter is under advisement, I am not in a position to make any comment at this time." You can read more about these allegations online at pacificnewscenter.com.
All right, well, it's another full weekend of sports, so let's see what Blake Watson has for us.
Hey, coming up, we crown new champions in the Father Dueñas Masters Basketball Tournament. Or do we? Also, we have soccer coming up was the point. My reporting is much better than my Vuvuzela playing. I promise. Soccer and sports next.